Hello, first grade readers. So, yesterday I was reading a book about the summertime, which I'm sure, like all of you, you're pretty excited about. And I started to come to some words that were really long. They weren't like short little words, and they were definitely more than one syllable. And I realized that if I am having trouble with some of these words, that maybe first graders are having trouble with some of these words. And we can use some strategies to help us break these words apart. So let's take a look together at this first word I found. So I came to this word and I thought, whoa, there's a lot of letters in this word. There are 9 letters in this word. That's a really big word. How am I going to break this apart? And then I remembered every word has to have a vowel. But not just every word has to have a vowel. Every syllable has to have a vowel. And there's a lot of vowels in this word. Take a look at that word starting over here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I just looked at this word really fast, I might say, oh, there's an E and an A together there. That must say E. So I'm going to sound this word out. I'm going to go P, in, E, le, peniple. Does that sound like a word that belongs in a book about the summertime? Of course not. That's not even a real word, right? So I must have to use a different strategy when solving a word that's so big like this. And one strategy that readers can use is they can break words apart, okay, into chunks. And if I'm going to break this word apart into chunks, I can immediately see this part of the word. Do you see that too? Do you see the silent E that makes this long vowel say his name? And he's always silent. So now, if I look at this chunk of the word, I can see that on this side of the word, if I sound this out and make this I long and say nothing for the E, I would say pine, pine. And the minute I said pine, if you were going to think of something that had to do with the summertime, that had the word pine in it, can you think of anything? I bet if there was a picture, it would be even easier, but there is no picture right now. So let's keep going. So pine, and now let me look at the rest of the word. Well, A says a, pineapple, pineapple. What's the word? Pineapple, that's right. Who doesn't like a pineapple in the summertime? I think of Hawaii when I think of pineapples. And so by figuring out this first chunk and then kind of getting started on the second chunk, or maybe you even knew that word was apple when you looked at it, you can figure out this word is pineapple. And it meant that I needed to break this word into parts. So now let's look at another word here. I came to this word when I was reading one of my summertime stories. And when I'm looking for chunks of words here, I know there has to be more than one syllable because I see a vowel here and I see 2 vowels here. And I'm pretty familiar with EE, and I'm sure you all are. And I know EE says, what does it say? E, right? So I know that this part is going to make the long E sound, right? And I noticed this vowel over here. So I know there has to be at least 2 syllables. Do you see a chunk at the beginning that you might recognize, like a small little word? Let's see. Hey, do you recognize that word? What is it? Is this word sun? Yes, it is. So this word is sun. Well, now I see a 3-letter blend here. Let's sound that out together. Skr. Scr, scr, huh, sun, scr, een, sun, screen. What is it? Sunscreen. Did you hear it? Of course you need sunscreen. You need it at the beach, right? Great job sounding that word out. And by breaking this word into chunks, and in this case, 2 chunks, sun, screen, we can figure it out. We can also hear sunscreen, 2 syllables, right? All right, let's try another word together. this one, even I had a little trouble with it. But I noticed how many vowels are in this word. 2. That's right. The I and the E. And that E is with R. And I know Mrs. Nardone has been doing a lot of work with that R, that ER, right? And we know ER usually says what? Right? So now I already kind of know the ending here. I know it's right? But let's start at the beginning because that's what all readers do, right? So let's see. I'm going to sound out the beginning part here. Looks like a 3-letter blend. Hey, do you recognize this chunk? I-N-K, ink, right? Do you hear that? So, ink, sprinkler. What is it? Sprinkler, you got it. In this case, I kind of broke it up into 3 chunks, right? I looked at the beginning 3-letter blend. I looked at the ink. And then I looked at the sprinkler. Sprinkler, that's a big word. Let's do one more word together, shall we? Well, when I look at this word, if I was looking at it for the first time, I might immediately notice that it had the word cat in it. But that might not be helpful because we know that good readers should really start at the beginning of a word, right? So let's look at it. I notice 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels in this word. That's a lot of vowels. Do you think it has 4 syllables if it has 4 vowels? Maybe, but maybe not because these 2 vowels are together. And I've seen this ending before, T-I-O-N. I've seen it before. I'm not sure yet how to say it, but maybe if I start at the beginning, I can figure it out. I noticed that if I look at this part and I look at this part, I might need to try this vowel another way. So let me start out with trying it the way that I know, with the short A, ah. Vaca. The only word I know that sounds like anything like that is like a vacuum, and I don't think that has anything to do with the summertime. I don't want to be vacuuming in the summertime. Let me try that A the long way. What do you think? Maybe I'll try this A the long way too. A. Oh, what do you think of that? Vacay. Hey, vacay. That sounds like what I call vacation. Holy cow, what could it be? Could it be the word vacation? Could T-I-O-N say shun? It can. T-I-O-N can say shun. Vacation. Vacation. Who's ready for vacation? I am, as I'm sure all of you are too. Today, boys and girls, when you come to big, long, tricky words, I want you to do your best to break your word apart into chunks. And I want you to think, well, if it doesn't make the short sound, maybe it makes the long sound. And I want you to look for endings that you might recognize, like And I want you to look for vowel teams that you might recognize, like E. And word chunks that you might recognize, like sun. And I want you to do your best to break the word apart to try to figure out these big words. And even if you don't know what they mean yet, we're going to work on that tomorrow. But for today, as you're reading, if you want to write down 1 or 2 of those big words that you figured out all by yourself, write them down and share them today with your teacher or a family member in your house. Enjoy reading and happy reading today, boys and girls. Off you go.